This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Adriana St. Clair. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Breaking now at 9, we're looking at a chaotic scene near Midway Airport, a chain reaction that led to a multi-car crash and one person being hit and killed.
And lane closures on the Kennedy as the last phase of a renovation project gets underway. We are keeping an eye on how it is affecting traffic.
And it's clear and calm right now, but we're expecting storms and some snow later this week. Let's start with that. We've got Laura Bannon tracking the changes coming, but at least it's just okay today.
Yeah. There's something about putting storms and snow together, like kind of goes together here in Chicago.
It does this time of year for sure.
This time? Okay, yes.
Everything in there.
Fair. Now, if it's July, I don't know. That's a different talk, different tune that would be singing here. But we do have a busy couple of days ahead of us. Right now, it is quiet. We've got some clouds, mild upper 40s, close to 50 degrees, with breezy south winds building out there. Highs reaching the middle upper 60s, some 70s, especially farther to the south. Get a little bit of sunshine here today, but I do think that those clouds will dominate for a better portion of the day ahead. Tomorrow is when we're on alert for severe weather. A high wind is going to be the main threat. Can't rule out an isolated tornado and some large hail. That's going to be late day into Wednesday. Thursday is when we do get the wraparound and the snow in the morning hours. We'll have to keep a close eye on that because that morning rush is likely going to be a messy one. We'll dive in deeper to that storm and snow threat coming up here shortly.
All right, Laura, thank you. 9:01, we've been talking about that major traffic headache for people on the Kennedy. We're taking a live look now where you can see the lane closures for the final phase of this reconstruction project. Now, going outbound right now, 2 of 4 lanes are closing from Division to Costner. You can see those cones right there and the orange arrows signaling that traffic has been very slow on the inbound side because the express lanes were switched to flow outbound. IDOT warning drivers, if you get into the express lanes, the soonest you can get off is on the Edens at Foster. That means you cannot get off if you're going to O'Hare. So important to note there. Now, traffic expected to take 3 times as long during the rush hours, and the work will last until Thanksgiving. So we got a long road ahead here. IDOT says they will repair 19 bridges, repatch pavement, fix overhead signs, and add LED lights. Now, you will want to find some alternate routes like the Blue Line, which will add more trains starting next month. Now, if we zoom out here, let's get a check of travel times across the board at 9 o'clock this morning. Oh my goodness, look at the inbound Kennedy. It is still horrible right now. 78 minutes downtown if you're heading downtown on the inbound Kennedy. Looks like that inbound express lane being taken away, really causing a headache. Also, the inbound Eisenhower still more than an hour in there as well. And now we turn to your nonstop news where you can see the tread marks left behind after that deadly crash here near Midway Airport.
CBS Skywatch flew over the scene where Chicago police say one of 3 cars involved jumped the curb, killing a man. The car then careened into the side of an airport hangar. Now, Darius Johnson is live in the Clearing neighborhood. He's been there all morning. That's where the crash happened. Darius, any charges at this point?
No charges, no citations, and there is no one in custody. In the last hour, you can see crews have started to board up exactly where that one car went into that aircraft hangar. It's kind of hard to see because you have some Chicago Midway Airport crews standing right there blocking everything. But take a look at this video. When you look at the hole through the wall of this building hit, you can see wheels of an aircraft inside. Chicago Fire was called to this scene at 63rd and Latrobe just after 11 o'clock last night. And police say a white Infiniti sideswiped a black Infiniti. Then one of the 2 vehicles hit a white Nissan. That white Infiniti then jumped the curb and hit a 38-year-old man who was walking, who was then taken to the hospital where he died. We had a chance to speak to the father of one of the men involved in the crash, who is expected to be okay.
One he hit my son's car, and the other one he coming, I think, in this way and hit the wall.
A total of 6 people were involved in the crash. 2 others were taken to the hospital. The others were not injured or they refused treatment at the scene. Again, at this time, no one is in custody. There are no charges and no citations. We are still waiting to learn the identity of the 38-year-old man who died. Reporting in Clearing this morning, I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Darius, thank you. Well, the family of a 21-year-old woman shot and killed at a Stone Park nightclub is expected to speak today. It comes as the security guard is expected to appear in court for a bond hearing. The 35-year-old Kevin Henley is charged with involuntary manslaughter, and we are now learning he was not licensed to carry a gun or to work as a security guard. Video shows the moment a single gunshot went off inside Mansion Live nightclub, leaving 21-year-old Zolma Pacheco dead. Zolma's family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the club and the security guard. And the search continues for the man police say tried to kidnap an 18-year-old woman. It happened in Old Town over the weekend. The victim told police she was walking near Wells and Scott Saturday afternoon when a man pulled up alongside her and dragged her into a black Ford. She eventually jumped out of the moving car and she was taken to the hospital to be checked out.
We have new details on a deadly shooting that killed a 13-year-old boy in Lawndale, and we're now told the boy's mom actually reported him missing to police before his body was found by officers early yesterday morning. Now, that's according to Alderwoman Monique Scott, who says the gunshot detection technology that was just removed from the neighborhood last year could have possibly helped here. Scott says this shows that ShotSpotter needs to be brought back, and she's not the only one sharing that sentiment.
I'm not saying that this young boy would have been saved, but we would have known where he was sooner.
The Johnson administration refuses to adhere to the laws passed by City Council that says we want this technology available.
As of this morning, Chicago police are still looking for the person who shot and killed that 13-year-old boy. And we're keeping an eye on your world this morning, where more than 400 Palestinians in Gaza are now dead after devastating Israeli airstrikes.
The strikes reigniting a war that had been put on pause since a ceasefire took effect in January. Gaza has been turned to rubble, with the Israel Defense Force saying it was targeting dozens of Hamas targets. Israel is now telling people in eastern Gaza to leave the area. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the ceasefire ended because Hamas refused to release the remaining hostages.
And among those killed by Israel is the Hamas Deputy Minister of Interior and Security official Mahmoud Abu Wafda. Another leader was also killed. The strikes mark the end of a ceasefire, as Israeli officials say they will continue for as long as necessary. And while Israel blames Hamas for the ceasefire coming to an end, Hamas says that Israel is fully responsible for violating and overturning the ceasefire. The statement says this means the remaining hostages held in Gaza will likely die.
The Gaza Health Ministry says more than 100 children died in that attack. Officials with UNICEF say the children are being impacted by all of the fighting, not just physically.
UNICEF estimates that every child in Gaza today is in need of mental health and psychosocial support because of the preceding 15 months of violence. So children are bearing the biggest brunt. They are the biggest victims in this war.
As the fate of the hostages held by Hamas looms, their families are condemning the strike. They're accusing Netanyahu of complete deception, saying the strikes are endangering the lives of their loved ones. The group says the hostages could have still been saved. And President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are expected to talk today as negotiations continue for a possible ceasefire deal between Russia and Ukraine. President Trump is looking for Putin to sign on for negotiations, but Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is skeptical that Putin will do so. The phone call today comes after White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff met with Putin in Moscow last week.
The search for a college student who disappeared on spring break in the Dominican Republic is now in its second week. Sudiksha Konanki's parents are now requesting that she be declared deceased so they can get some closure. The 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student has been missing since March 6. She's believed to have been swept away in the ocean. Right now, authorities say no one is considered a suspect in her disappearance.
Well, the 2025 season for Major League Baseball officially underway. 2 teams taking the field.
Yep, the Cubs and Los Angeles Dodgers facing off in Tokyo for the first in a 2-game series.
It started off well for the Cubs, who took a 1-0 lead in the second, but it didn't last long. The Dodgers would score 3 runs in the 5th before adding a 4th in the 9th. The Cubs wouldn't be able to respond and lose 4-1. The rest of Major League Baseball starts their regular season a week from Thursday. today.
Well, Illinois State Police is holding an event today specifically for women.
That's right. How the agency is taking action to increase representation in the nationwide initiative to diversify the police force.
And finally, headed home. 2 NASA astronauts on their way back to Earth after being stranded in space for 9 months. What a welcome home that will be, Laura.
I know. It's so great to hear that. Time is 9:10. We have a breezy, warm day, highs in the 60s and 70s. Thunderstorms on the way and a chance for snow. I'm timing it out in your first alert forecast.
Welcome back this morning. So Illinois State Police wants more women to join. So today the agency is hosting its first recruitment event exclusively for women.
The agency is looking for sworn police officers and civilian employees. And joining us now to talk about today's event and this whole initiative is Trooper Jamie Bufford with the Illinois State Police. Thanks so much for joining us, Trooper, this morning. Now, I know this is a first for Illinois State Police, so why do this? What prompted this recruitment event in particular?
Well, the main thing is we want more women to be involved with law enforcement with the Illinois State Police. So we have a 30 by 30 initiative that we are doing, and so by the year of 2030, we are trying to increase the number of women that are employed with the Illinois State Police, and that would be civilian and as sworn troopers.
That's really interesting, you know, that 30 by 30 initiative. And when we saw that, we looked up the U.S. Department of Justice info. It said women actually make up less than 14% of full-time sworn officers and then 11% of first-line supervisors across local police departments. I'm curious why you think the number of women in policing is so low.
You know, I wish I had a good answer, but it might just be that people aren't aware of the opportunities. So that's why we're having this event. So the public can come over to the State Police Academy today. They can talk to all different divisions within the state police. A lot of times when people think of law enforcement, they think of, and especially with the state police, they think of those on patrol. They're out on the road, they're pulling people over, giving them tickets, arresting, that type of stuff, but that's not the only thing that we do. We have all kinds of different things that you could do, crime scene, you could do, there's just so many different specialties within the state police, and that's why we want people to come out and talk to us so they can see what is out there. And like I said before, it's not just sworn, you could also be a civilian. There's a lot of opportunities within the civilian department as well. So again, we just want people to come out, talk to us, see what we're all about.
Let's talk about the 30 by 30 initiative that the Illinois State Police is involved with. It's a pledge, you know, to increase the number of women in police recruit classes to 30% by 2030. And I know it's linked to research showing benefits of women in law enforcement. Can you explain the initiative a little more and expand on that research?
Yeah, so the research shows women kind of take a different approach when as law enforcement, when interacting with the public, and I think that that is a positive thing. So I feel having more women would be beneficial to our department, and you know, the data does show that 29% of ISP employees are women, and only 10% are sworn. So that means they're actual troopers on the road, that type of thing. So our goal, like I said before, is to increase that to 30% by 2030. So right now our cadets class is like at 10 to 15% female. So we definitely want to increase that. And there is a benefit to having females out there, you know, interacting with the public. I feel that they bring something more, something different.
Something different, like
maybe those male officers.
What, more patience, maybe more? I mean, can you expound on that a little?
So yeah, maybe they're a little more, you know, I'm trying to think of the right words to use, but yes, they're a little more compassionate, maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe instead of making things escalating when you're out there talking with the public, they know how to kind of de-escalate the situation, you know, their tone of voice, that type of thing. So yes, I do agree that women have something special to bring to the law enforcement agency.
All right, Trooper Jamie Bufford, thank you so much for joining us and sharing more about this initiative. And we do want to note that the Career Exploration event is taking place from 10 to 2 at the ISP Academy in Springfield. You can learn more about employment benefit opportunities with ISP on the agency's website, because we know we're a little bit away from Springfield, isp.illinois.gov. The information on your screen right now to learn more about that recruiting event for women.
Good luck to them. You know, it'll be interesting to see if it is a success.
Yeah, definitely. And see if maybe those numbers uptick. Like she said, sometimes you just don't even know what opportunities are out there, from civilian to actually being out on the road. So it'll be good to see. Maybe we'll be able to follow up with them to see what happens from that too.
You should make a note of that. I'll pull out my little notebook and write that down.
Like, okay, follow up.
Where's it at?
It's in my bag down here.
All right. I'll go do weather and then you can jot
I will. I'll pull. Yeah, thank you, Laura.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I got you.
So today I know it's gonna be mild, but sunshine expected too.
A little, yeah. We've got a lot of clouds right now, so we're going to be in and out of that. But things are going to be feeling pretty nice here this afternoon. This is the warm weather that we've been waiting on. That kind of took a little bit of a divert, or I don't even know what word I'm trying to use here, but it was not in place for the end of the weekend. We have scattered showers in the forecast for tomorrow. I'm going to jump ahead to the severe storm threat and talk about that for the late day evening. Some numerous thunderstorms, and some of those may turn possibly strong or severe. Main threats of these thunderstorms: damaging winds, large hail, isolated tornadoes. That is going to be in the late day. So today is the quiet day that will enjoy the nice warm weather. Middle upper 40s right now, close to 50 degrees. Winds right now manageable, but it will turn fairly breezy to windy in the late day today. Let's take a look at this timing of the rain. Tomorrow in the morning hours, mostly in good shape. There's going to be a couple of showers around at times, and then a nice little quick hit of rain through the midday hours. Once we get past 3-4 o'clock, that's when we see a broken line of thunderstorms going up out there, moving off toward the north and east. So these thunderstorms have the potential to pack that punch with that damaging wind, hail, tornado risk until about 8-9 o'clock. Once that clears, we get on the backside of this system, and snow swings on through early in the morning hours on Thursday. So it is going to be a slow, sloshy morning on Thursday. Sunshine returns for the afternoon. A couple of inches of snow, mostly off toward the far north and west, looking at about a dusting to a half an inch for areas south into northwest Indiana. 67 for your high today. Some areas in the lowermost 70s. Tonight, breezy, cool, the low 53 degrees. Another warm day tomorrow. I think for the most part should be able to enjoy that 65, but stay weather aware that those thunderstorms are expected to develop after 3-4 o'clock and then go into the evening. Snowy start to Thursday, and for the first day of spring, 44 for the high near 60 going into Friday.
Laura, thank you. Well, Chicago nonprofit is spreading kindness this Ramadan by serving meals to those in need. Shy Care hosted a special event this past weekend, bringing community together to help feed Chicago's homeless community. Organizers say the event was more than just about food. It was about making sure everyone feels seen and feels valued. Shy Care's president called it a true reflection of Ramadan's spirit of giving and uplifting one another.
And right now, 2 NASA astronauts stranded in space for almost a year are finally on their way home.
That SpaceX capsule undocked from the International Space Station overnight finally, carrying with it Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore, and Derek Waller has a story about what's next.
All hooks open.
All hooks are open. And undocking confirmed.
Overnight, the moment 2 stranded American astronauts finally began their long-delayed journey home. The SpaceX Dragon 9 capsule undocked from the International Space Station at 1:05 a.m. Eastern. Among the 4-person crew, Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore. The pair embarked on a planned 8-day research mission last June, but propulsion issues forced them to stay in orbit for more than 9 months. The other 2 crew members on board, a Russian cosmonaut and another NASA astronaut.
Ignition and lift off.
Williams and Wilmore's replacement crew, led by Commander Ann McClain, launched Friday from the Kennedy Space Center. On Sunday, the veteran astronauts welcomed them aboard.
It was a wonderful day. Great to see our friends arrive.
You can hardly even put it into words. The ride up on the Falcon 9, orbiting the Earth for the last couple of days, it's been absolutely incredible.
Ken Bowersox, a former astronaut himself, now leads space operations for NASA.
It's always a little bittersweet, right? You miss your family, but you love being on space station. I'm looking forward to sitting across from them and hearing about their perception of how things went and all about their time on orbit.
And it will be a story unlike any other. And splashdown is scheduled to happen just off the Florida coast tonight around 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm Derek Waller, CBS News.
Derek, thank you. Well, next, how Illinois' Attorney General is pushing back against new rules for passports when it comes to gender identity.
And Taylor Swift sweeps the iHeartRadio Music Award, the singer's reaction, plus the other artists who took home big prizes.
We're in Austin this morning at Austin Square, which is a new business development, which has a private event space, a boutique, and an amazing restaurant that we've been showing you all morning. Take a look at this food. I'm with Chef Jason and Chef Wanda, who made all of this food for us this morning. It looks absolutely delicious, and it is delicious. Chef Wanda, why should people come out to TNT Restaurant and experience it for themselves?
Because we are a exquisite restaurant. We are fine dining, and we have great food, and it's made with love. It's made precise precision. You need to come on down to TNT Rooftop.
If that's not a tease, I don't know what is. Thank you so much, you guys, for your time this morning. But actually, in about 20 minutes, we're going to be heading over to the boutique space and showing you some of the beautiful clothes they have too. Because if you've seen Tanika, who owns this restaurant, you know that she's a fashionista. You can get some of the clothes she wears right across the way. We'll be back right after the break.
Well, this morning we wanted to share the winners of the 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
The ceremony rocked in Los Angeles last night.
This is amazing. Hi. Thank you so much to iHeart, and thank you so much mainly to the fans.
Of course, that is Taylor Swift, in case you didn't know, who won in recognition for the Tour of the Century, the Eras Tour. Swift was one of the most nominated artists. Lady Gaga was honored with the 2025 Innovator Award. She expressed thanks and said winning an award for honoring her entire career at 38 years old was, quote, hard to get her head around.
I just want to ask you a question, please. Is the lighting okay? Because I don't like bad lighting.
That, of course, Mariah Carey, the iHeartRadio Icon Award winner. And then also, Billie Eilish and Phineas took home the award for Album of the Year for Hit Me Hard and Soft. The iHeartRadio Music Awards, by the way, honors the most played songs and artists in iHeartRadio stations and the iHeart app. Of course, Taylor Swift won a lot of the awards.
Of course, there are a big chunk of them for sure.
A big chunk of them for sure.
I love how it's the tour of the century, though, when it's only 25 years into the century. Check back in 70 years.
Until now, right?
Yeah, right, I guess. Well, next, the history of Chicago's biggest music festival, a new book showcasing the evolution of Lollapalooza and how it all began.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning. I'm Adrena Sinclair.
And I'm Dana Kozlov. It's 9:30. Thanks so much for staying with us. Well, drivers on the Kennedy feeling the impact of lane closures as the final phase of a 3-year-long construction project gets underway. The traffic today and how to get around it.
And as we take a live look outside, a little bit warmer today, and we have some storms headed our way. So we've got Laura Bannon here in the house timing out today's weather, but also all the changes coming for us this week.
Yeah, some drastic changes from thunderstorms to snow. Up and down temperatures will come along with all these changes. Today, one of the warmer days and the calmer days that we have on the horizon. A little bit of sunshine with this deck clouds out toward DeKalb, thanks to NIU meteorology showing some blue sky in that direction. That'll be the theme today, with some sunny intervals at times, warming to upper 40s, close to 50 now. Gary is actually at 50. We have 48 in the Loop and 44 out toward DeKalb. We get through the 50s here this morning, and then afternoon weather as we get some more sunshine and some warming winds. Temps will get into the 60s, close to 70 degrees. The next couple of days, mentioned the risk of thunderstorms. That's going to be in the late day tomorrow. High wind, hail, and tornadoes will all be possible. I'll walk you through that hour-by-hour timeline to help you prep for the round of severe weather and the snow that follows coming up here shortly.
All right, Laura, see you soon for those details. Thank you. Well, what a day for drivers on the Kennedy. The construction has begun again.
On the Expressway. It's true. It's the newest and final phase with major backups already causing headaches for commuters this morning. But you better get used to it because the work isn't expected to be finished until Thanksgiving. Marissa Perlman has been out alongside the Kennedy all morning long, and she joins us live to tell us how it's going now. Marissa.
Good morning to both of you. Good to be with you. Yeah, it is officially here. The Kennedy Express lanes are now closed, at least outbound. We are here live off of the Augusta exit. You can see the traffic really crawling inbound and even outbound as well. It's a little bit better, but you can see the delays kind of impact as well. It's been a mess. And as we creep towards kind of the end of rush hour, travel time's already longer. Now, we do know the crews were set up for the final phase of this reconstruction project overnight, creating work zones, which include overnight ramp and lane closures. Now, here is what is in the works now. Here's what you need to know about. The outbound Kennedy is losing 2 mainline lanes, and the reversible express lanes will remain outbound only. So northbound drivers, you will see 2 lanes basically going 4 to 2. So it's a big change to get used to. And then here's the other catch with this. IDOT is warning drivers, if you get into the express lanes, the soonest you can get off is at the Edens at Foster Avenue. So for those of you who have a flight to catch over the next several months, if you're heading to O'Hare, do not take those express lanes. Now, we do expect trains to be more crowded during this construction project, and the CTA Blue Line is another option for commuters as well. Metro says they'll also be adding services as well, and there is that North Line you can take if you're looking to get to O'Hare and you don't want to drive. So the setup for this process, though, isn't actually expected to be complete until the next several days. So we won't see the full effects of these closures until the end of the week. But already, guys, seeing the impacts, the traffic delays, both inbound and outbound. We've been talking about this morning. Expect traffic to take 3 times longer than you normally would. So other transportation options, if you can take them, definitely a good option. For now, we're live along the Kennedy. I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS News Chicago. Back to both of you in the studio.
Whew, drive time tripling. That is a big deal. All right, the Blue Line will see more trains due to the Kennedy construction project that officially again started today, but they won't start those extra trains until April 20th, according to the CTA's new spring schedule. We are told that this will include 30 extra trips each weekday and then 17 extra trips on Saturdays. The Yellow Line will also see early morning service on weekdays, which the CTA says will better align with the Red Line. Metra also adding service on the main line that parallels the Kennedy, the UP Northwest line. North Central service can get you to O'Hare, by the way, and then the Milwaukee District North and UP North are options if you're traveling between many northern suburbs and downtown.
Attorney General Kwame Raoul is urging the Trump administration to stop changes to the passport application process that targets a person's gender identity. Raoul and 12 other attorneys general say the change will hurt transgender and non-binary individuals. On Trump's first day in office, he signed an executive order that said the U.S. will only recognize 2 sexes, male and female. The order also told the State Department and Homeland Security to make it so IDs only reflect that. Illinois is one of 16 states that allows people to change their birth certificate to match their gender identity. A federal judge has given the Trump administration until noon today to explain why it disobeyed his order that 2 planes carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador Saturday turn around. A 3rd flight took off later that day. The judge had blocked the president's use of the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to deport some of the accused gang members. The administration says the judge's order was not in writing until after the first 2 flights took off, and that the court no longer had jurisdiction once the planes were over international waters, but it doesn't explain that 3rd flight.
Cook County Board President Toni Preckwinkle says she's running for re-election, citing her concerns with the Trump administration as her reason to seek another term. So she wrote, quote, "Now is the time to lead the fight to protect all residents of Cook County." Preckwinkle says she intends to build upon her work in criminal justice reform and expanding access to health care. Preckwinkle, who is 78 years old, has held office since 2010. And this giant sculpture in Cartagena, Colombia is a monument to women. It has just been unveiled in Cartagena's historic town center. It recognizes strength and cultural heritage of the women of the San Basilio de Palenque, the first free town in the Americas. Known for their colorful clothing and art, the women are true entrepreneurs and leaders. They were key in the anti-slavery movement generations ago. Next, we are live in Chicago's Austin neighborhood on the west side at a new restaurant and rooftop and shop. The couple behind it joins Jackie live.
Plus, an inside look at Lollapalooza through a new book. Two music journalists look into how it started, how it wound up in Chicago, and the strange behind-the-scenes stories that have been a part of it since the very start.
Nice weather today, but a weather alert for you as thunderstorms move into the Chicago area. Some of it could be strong to severe, ends as some snow as early as Thursday morning. We'll track this system's hour-by-hour move coming up.
We are jump-starting your morning at a new spot in Chicago's Austin neighborhood.
Jackie Kostek's live at TNT Rooftop Restaurant. And it's not just that, but the couple that started this, Jackie, also has other businesses that you're showing us as well.
Dana and Audrina, good morning to you. Yes, from Austin Square, this is a new business development. So they essentially have three different businesses within one development. They've got the rooftop bar and restaurant, they've got the event space next door, and then this is the boutique, and this is actually what started this whole development. So I was actually thinking it was the restaurant that started it, but no, it is Dress 1213, which is a boutique owned by Tanika Anderson. Tanika, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so how did this all get started for you, this boutique?
Well, it all got started online. I have a passion for fashion, so my husband was like, well, just go for it. We opened up the LLC in 2018. Okay. I was online at first, and then I'm like, okay, I want a storefront. So while he was in the process of building this, or we were finding it, I started the mobile boutique because it was taking so long for permits. And so we also have a mobile boutique as well, and we go around to different festivals, or you can book us for boutique parties, or we can show up at your local nail shop or beauty salon.
I love it. I love it. And then finally, a couple of years ago, you were able to open in this storefront space. So now you basically have three different ways of shopping Dress 1213.
Yes, you can find us at dress1213.com, on Instagram at dress1213. You can also book the boutique truck to pull up, outfits on wheels, and then you can also come into the store on Madison.
I love it. Your love for your grandmothers inspired both the name and some of the actual pieces that you see in here. Tell me a little bit about them.
Yes, both of my grandmothers had a passion for fashion as well. And so I developed Dress 1213. They both passed before I can bring it to life. So 1213 is one of my grandmother's birthday, and the other one is January 12th. And so that's where Dress 1213 came from.
Okay, you look amazing today. I love your puff sleeve, and your gold pants are phenomenal. Do you have any favorite pieces that you have in here right now?
I do. So this is our favorite coat. It comes back every year. It's our swing coat. Okay, it comes in three colors: black, the black and white, and it also comes in a Kelly green.
That is so cute. That is so cute. And when you check out her Instagram, you'll see some of the customers sporting those coats too, which I love. I am sort of thankful though that today we're not going to need that coat, but tomorrow we might, because that's Chicago for you. Okay, come on with us right now. We're going to actually take you behind the scenes, and we're going to show you the mobile boutique before we let you go, because you have to see this closet on wheels. So Dave's gonna come on out behind me, and Tom, okay. Look at that, and it's wrapped perfectly. So Tanika, where can people find this in the spring and summer months?
You can find it at different festivals, or you can call the number on the truck and you can book us. But we'll pull up outside your local grocery store, nail shop, beauty shop, you name it.
And they literally just hop onto the truck, and you've got a lot of the same clothes that you have in the boutique, right?
Yes, I do. So remember, if you want to be seen, shop Dress 1213.
Yeah. Tanika, you've got the tees, you've got everything. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Tony's out here this morning too, the other owner of TNT. Of course, TNT stands for Tony and Tamika. So you guys, we've had so much fun out here in Austin this morning. These three businesses are located right on Madison. You guys, come on in. Come on in. Yes, it's been such a fun morning. Dress to impress. I love it. Thank you for your time. Come check it out too. The rooftop, not going to be open today, but open in a month or so when it is consistently nicer. Is consistency anything we Is it ever something we get in Chicago? No, I don't think so, but it'll be open soon.
That's awesome. They were so inspiring today. So many amazing, innovative ideas that they brought to one location. Jackie, thanks for highlighting all that they're doing there. I love TNT. Of course, they named it after themselves. Perfect. Yeah, they put all the work into it. That's amazing. We're like, mobile boutique, that's dangerous. You're having a girls' night hanging out, and then it pops up.
A store comes to you.
A store comes right to you.
This is
groundbreaking. I know. Yeah. All right, so we're talking about the consistency that we do not have, and this week is just an example.
I was thinking, like, when do we get consistency? And it's like only when it's like 90+ degrees.
It's like July 1st.
Like I was gonna say the
September
end of June.
15th.
And you're like, it's hot, dry, sunny. And
no, I would say like for 1 week in June and maybe 1 week in August.
June 1st through June 7th. And that's it.
Maybe.
That's like, what's that movie where she's like, what's your perfect day? And she's like, April 24th, because it's not too hot, not too cold.
Miss Congeniality.
Yes, that movie. Gosh,
or something like that. Not that I know.
No, it is.
I know.
That was your Miss Congeniality answer right there. 9:47, everyone. Warm day today. Some sunny intervals, though we look pretty cloudy right now across Chicago. We're going to be breezy, warmer, 60s, some 70s, some showers with some afternoon thunderstorms developing for tomorrow. Then this is the non-consistent part of the forecast. We get some snow early Thursday morning. Some minor accumulations. The big problem is, well, the travel that will come along and the timing of it being so early in the morning rush. 48 degrees right now, and it feels like 43. We're getting up to the 50s now. Joliet 50, 45 McHenry, 47 Valparaiso. Out south, too, sitting at 50 degrees. Lots of clouds here on the radar, but there's no rain, there's no snow, there's no storms yet. Tomorrow, we go to an area with a level 2 risk, scale of 1 to 5 here. So that has been upgraded since yesterday. We watched that uptick in that department. So what this means is this yellow shaded area here, including Chicago, will want to be on alert for some high winds, the potential for a tornado and large hail with this line of thunderstorms that comes through in the afternoon. Stopping it here at 5:45 tomorrow, you've got a broken line of thunderstorms racing to the north and east. Once that clears, we get a short little window here where conditions are relatively calm, but that's going to be the shift, the transition as we get on the backside of this system here that pulls in colder air, and then we have a big area of snow as early as 4 in the morning. That tapers off once we get past 8, 9 o'clock, moving into northwest Indiana. Behind that comes along with some clearing skies and sunshine. Likely not a sticking snow here, but a slushy, wet snow. Couple of inches of accumulation. 1, 2, you have lighter amounts to the south into northwest Indiana. So today's high, nice 67 degrees. We stay cool going into tonight. Those breezes will continue with a low of 53 degrees. Warm again for tomorrow, 65. Out ahead of that main band of thunderstorms, couple of showers at rounds at times, but that's going to be in the morning hours and then midday. So still some dry time to enjoy it before we go down to the 40s. 44 on Thursday, near 60 on Friday. Colder again on Saturday. Back to the middle upper 40s for Sunday and Monday. Couple of shower chances here. The next best one that we have is going to be Sunday into Monday, and it's cold enough to where we have another opportunity to see a little snow then.
All right, Laura, thank you. Inconsistency, the name of the game for us. Well, today we'll find out who will headline Lollapalooza this summer.
Yeah, so we can think summer more, right, instead of snow. The music festival's full lineup drops today. One of the biggest performers last year was Chappell Roan, and she wasn't even one of the headliners. Music lovers can sign up online to get first access to tickets. Lala runs July 31st to August 3rd in Grant Park. And Lollapalooza is an iconic part of the summer here in the city, just like the Taste of Chicago, the Air and Water Show, and other classic Chicago events.
Oh, Scott is streaming today, daydreaming about that. Our Joe Donlin tells us about a new book that explores the history of the festival, including how it wound up here.
Telling the story of Lollapalooza, you are also telling the story of a cultural moment.
No one died on Lollapalooza, and they really could have.
More than 3 decades after the first notes rang out at Lollapalooza, rock writers Tom Beaujeur and Richard Beanstalk are telling the festival's story in their new book.
It's really about people having this wacky idea that you could make a festival with cool bands travel around the United States, and that it would be, a proposition that panned out.
The show is a summer fixture at Grant Park now, but as many know, it started as a traveling festival in 1991. This is MTV's coverage of the very first show.
It's 109 degrees and the excitement is running high here at the opening date of Lollapalooza, a traveling carnival of music, information and art.
So Lollapalooza, as the story goes, was conceived as a farewell tour for Jane's Addiction. They knew they were going to break up. They knew that this was going to be their last hurrah, and they wanted to do something unique and special. It is enormously successful that first year, and that leads it to become an annual event.
Beanstalk and Beaujeur say the original festival ran through 1997. There were other versions planned after that, and then
the group that was putting on Austin City Limits in Austin was looking for another city to put on a similar event. And the Chicago mayor's office was also looking for an event.
So Lollapalooza returned in 2005 with a permanent home in Chicago.
Over the next 2 days, thousands of people will converge on Grant Park, taking in the sights and sounds of a wide number of alternative bands.
Chicago was incredibly helpful. I mean, giving Grant Park to a rock festival that's a pretty big deal.
It's become a global phenomenon at this point, and that really stems from the Chicago iteration.
Along the way, there were challenges, controversies, and some downright strange stories about the bands uncovered in the book.
You know, you were isolated, you had huge amounts of time to kill every day. You're surrounded by other people doing stuff. You know, a lot of people in this book relapse, go down the tubes, like on Lollapalooza.
You know, you see a lot of these sort of funny interactions with bands, whether it's, or sometimes just bizarre. Like there's a great story, I think it's in 91, where Al Jourgensen from Ministry and Henry Rollins almost get in a fight.
Always for me really important is to just for people to actually understand what it is to be a musician, like to really understand how hard it is, how hard the work is to be a musician touring.
Well, the book comes out March 25th, and you just heard one of the authors say Lollapalooza has become a global phenomenon, which, I mean, I agree completely with that. After launching the Chicago show, well, Lollapalooza India just wrapped up earlier this month. Wow, India. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories we're keeping an eye on today.
A man has died in a 3-vehicle crash right near Midway Airport, and Chicago police say a white car sideswiped another car, and one of those cars then hit a third. The white sedan then jumped a curb and hit a 38-year-old man. That is the man that was killed. Detectives are now investigating.
A security guard charged with involuntary manslaughter in a young woman's death was not licensed to carry a gun or even to work as a security guard. Police say Kevin Henley shot 21-year-old Zulma Pacheco in a Stone Park nightclub. Her family is filing a wrongful death lawsuit. Henley is due in court today.
And the construction begins again. Work on Phase 3 of the Kennedy Expressway rehab project started last night and is expected to go until Thanksgiving. 2 outbound lanes will be closed from Division to Costner.
One final look at your 7-day forecast. 67 for the high today. Tomorrow, mostly nice weather during the daytime hours. Once we get into the late day is when those thunderstorms will go up. Likely going to be severe with high wind, hail, and a tornado potential. Then it all comes crashing down. We go down to the 30s for lows by Thursday morning. Some snow in the morning hours, so we could be looking at really a rough morning commute. And we were talking with Derek earlier. That's when the Kennedy Expressway is like we're in the full thick of it. So that is going to be a really interesting morning commute.
Oh boy, yeah. Okay.
Well, another reminder. We're looking for the best hot dog. We're looking for the best animation. I like that one. Okay, we're looking for the best hot dog in the Chicago area.
Tell us your favorite hot dog joint, and one of them will get the title of Chicago's Top Dog. Yep, not kidding. We're taking nominations from now until Friday, March 21st. So whichever restaurants get the most entries will make it into our March Madness-style tournament and compete in the Sport Pepper 16. Make your nomination on CBSChicago.com by searching What else? Top dog.
Put in your nominations. You only got a few days, and I am interested to see, all right, like who gets the most nominations.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
So vote, vote, vote. Thanks everyone for joining us here on the News at 9.
Your local news is always on the stream all day. Have a great one, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.